You are not reading this by accident. Every tap, every scroll, every moment of hesitation before you close an app was anticipated, modeled, optimized for long before you arrived. We like to believe we are choosing what to watch, choosing what to read, but choice implies freedom, and what has been built around us is not designed for your freedom. It is designed for your harvest. There is a specific architecture behind your exhaustion. A set of precise, deliberate mechanisms borrowed from behavioral science and embedded into the surfaces you touch dozens of times a day. These mechanisms do not ask for your permission. They do not need it. This is not about addiction in the casual sense. This is about engineering. What follows is a technical autopsy. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner placed a rat inside a box. The rat could press a lever. Sometimes the lever released food. Sometimes it didn't. Skinner discovered that variable reward schedules, rewards that arrive inconsistently, produce the most compulsive behavior. The rat would press the lever relentlessly because, maybe this time, you know this feeling. It is the reason you check your phone within minutes of waking. Not because you expect something specific, but because you might find something. The uncertainty is the engine. Your phone is not a slot machine by metaphor. It is a slot machine by design. The architecture is functionally identical. Only the aesthetic is different. It isn't just the uncertainty of the reward. It is the sensory environment in which it is delivered. In Las Vegas, casinos are designed without clocks or windows to suspend your sense of time. Your digital interface operates on the same logic. The blur effects, the soft gradients, the haptic vibrations when you pull to refresh. These are not aesthetic choices. They are sensory anchors, designed to create a state of flow that is profitable for the platform, but mentally bankrupting for you. You aren't just scrolling a list. You are pulling the arm of a machine that has been tuned to your specific psychological frequency. In 2008, behavioral economists Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein introduced a concept they called the nudge. The idea was elegant. You do not need to force a person to change their behavior. You only need to change the environment in which decisions are made. These micro-design decisions bypass the rational part of the brain and speak directly to the faster, automatic, emotional layer beneath it. The red color of notification badges was not chosen arbitrarily. Red signals threat, urgency. It is one of the most attention-capturing colors in human visual processing. Infinite scroll removes the natural pause, the moment when a page ends and you consciously decide to keep reading. Remove the pause, and what remains is pure momentum, frictionless consumption. There is a phrase that has become almost too familiar to carry weight anymore. Attention is the new oil, but consider what the metaphor actually means. Oil is extracted. It is not given. The resource does not benefit from being extracted. Only the system does. If attention is oil, then we are not the consumers in this equation. We are the wells. Every hour of engagement is a metric. Every emotional response, delight, outrage, anxiety, is a data point. Your most vulnerable moments, the ones in which you are bored or lonely, are the moments of highest yield. The product being sold to advertisers is a measurable unit of human mental focus, and the raw material is you. Here is the shift that matters. The conversation around these systems has long been framed as a warning, but that framing misses something critical about the architecture. Your exhaustion is not a side effect. It is a sign that the system is functioning correctly. A platform optimized for engagement has no structural incentive for your well-being. Your clarity of mind, your ability to be present in your own life, these are not metrics. They generate no revenue. The fatigue you feel after 2 hours of scrolling is the natural result of a mechanism that was never designed with your restoration in mind. Understanding this distinction is the first and most necessary step toward agency. We must also account for the biological tax of context switching. Every time a notification pulls you away, it takes your brain an average of 23 minutes to return to deep focus. But in the modern attention economy, you are interrupted every 6. This means most of us live in a permanent state of attention residue. We are never fully present, never fully productive, and never fully at rest. This fragmentation of the self is the hidden price of the free service. They don't just want your time, they want the coherence of your thoughts. The question is not whether to use these systems. The question is whether you can interact with them without being fully consumed by them. First, environmental design. If something requires effort, we do it less. Move high-yield applications off your home screen. Introduce distance, physical, visual, procedural. Second, information diet. Designate specific inputs. RSS feeds over algorithmic timelines. Curated information serves your agenda. Algorithmic information serves the platforms. Third, attention auditing. Once a week, account for your attention the way a serious person accounts for their finances. Where did it go? What did it produce? Attention is not infinite. It is, in fact, the most finite resource you possess. The architecture was built without your consent. Rebuilding it begins with awareness that it exists.